I don't really go over too many budget options for air rifles on my channel, but today we have a really nice one. The Barra 1100z. I'd like to give a big thank you to the member of the channel that sent out this Barra 1100z for me to try out today. Up front, to quiet things down, we have the Donnie FL Tatsu. For added stability today, we added an M-LOK picatinny rail and we're using a Magpul bipod. Since we're dealing with a budget airgun today, we're running this budget scope from Discovery Optics, the MS 3/9 power by 40. The last time I did a video on budget airguns, I brought out this B-Man Chief 2. Now that I've been running this Barra for a good little bit, I have to say, this thing is just obsolete in every way compared to the Barra 1100z. Comparing the Barra 1100z to the B-Man Chief 2 side by side, they actually look very similar. An interesting thing about these two, they actually share an identical magazine. They also have two identical looking safeties. The 1100z has a side lever for cocking, where the B-Man Chief 2 has a bolt action similar to the Barra 250z. But a big difference is on the Chief 2, the bolt does not cycle nearly as smooth as the Barra 250z. One big difference with this Barra 1100z Gen 2 is this one actually comes equipped with a regulator. Max fill pressure is 3,500 psi, and the reg pressure on this is set to 1,400 psi. One other really nice thing about this Barra is that you do not need a moderator adapter. Saving an extra $40 without needing that adapter is really nice. The trigger on the 1100z is a little bit heavier than I'd like, but with that being said, it is actually a very smooth trigger. I would say it's a step above the B-Man Chief 2. I'm probably always going to complain on video when these rifles use fill probes versus fixed Foster fittings. Surprisingly enough, the B-Man Chief 2 actually has a fixed Foster fitting. That's pretty much the only advantage, in my opinion, that the B-Man Chief 2 has over the Barra 1100z. To start off this video, we're going to be using these AEA center punch 21.9 grain pellets. Depending on how those pellets group, we might switch over to these AEA 18.3 grain pellets instead. It's time to get started on the range portion of this video. We're going to get sighted in around 25 to 30 yards. One thing to note, with the regulator pressure setting that this is at, we're gonna need about 20 rounds per fill. 2 magazines, and then we're gonna be topping back off. All right, I think we're decently dialed in. We'll do a little more fine tuning. I'll do 2 3-round groups, and we'll get some chronograph numbers. Let's go for a top left headshot. 842 feet per second. 840 feet per second. 840 feet per second. Didn't pick it up. $838 feet per second. 838 feet per second. We'll do one more group, top middle headshot. I'm gonna switch over to those other pellets, load those up, and do some more groups. Let's go for that far left center line. 882 feet per second. 875 feet per second. 881 feet per second. Let's go for that far right center line. 881 feet per second. Error. Error. We'll do one more group. Let's aim for the neckline. I think I'm going to stick with these pellets. They're doing a little bit better than the other ones. It is a little bit windy today, but we'll just stick with these and see how we do. I'm not sure if this has the power to take the plates off the Texas Star, but we're going to try. If it struggles, I'll aim for the edges and see if that takes them off. If we're actually able to pull one off, then I'll do the next one offhand. Okay, so this does not have enough power to drop the plates. Maybe if we were running slugs, it would do it, but with these pellets, it's just not enough to push those plates off. All right, we got 2 golf tees downrange. We have one with a golf ball and we have one with a AAA battery. Let's go for that AAA first. Easy peasy. I couldn't find the AAA battery, but interesting thing, we have a pellet embedded in the golf ball. Next up on the golf tees, we have 2 mini cinder blocks. Next on the chopping block, 1 peeled orange, 1 unpeeled orange. the peeled orange absolutely got shredded, but I'm also surprised by this unpeeled one. I put a nice little group in there. Let's see what it did. It's soda time. We're gonna start by trying to remove the cap of this 20 ounce of Mountain Dew. I don't think you can ask for any better than that. Okay, we have 3 sodas down there that need to be crushed. Pun intended. Let's see how fast we can do that. I won't edit this part down. Diabetes, crushed. I grabbed a bunch of small seals that are rated for 22 caliber air guns. Not like the crazy heavy powered ones, but 20, 30 foot-pounds. So let's go through all those targets, shoot each one, and just see what we can do. I don't think this target's gonna reset. Alright, next up we got a little gong down there. Let's see if I can knock it back down. Nice. Those set of swinging steels I actually really like. It's kind of cool to see the difference between the different weights and how much it's actually going to move those around. Let's move on to Johnny BB Gunner's cool swinging steel target. We're going to go, let's go clockwise and then hit the center. That's a first. That's also another really fun target. I destroyed my last one. I used air guns that were just a little bit too powerful. They say it's rated for 22 rimfire, which is just bullshit, honestly. So if you're thinking about shooting that thing with a 22 long rifle, do not do it. You will destroy that thing. All right, we got one more set of targets, and then we're gonna move on. I can't believe that this thing is a little bit too powerful for these. I took out the Barra 1100z and tested it out before I had it on video, and I actually kind of bent some of the plates on these. Granted, that thing's putting out a lot more power. This is putting out about half of it, and still, this is too strong because these are supposed to be able to be reset once you hit them, but it just, you can't flip them over. It's just going too hard and hitting them and flipping them around. All right, let's do Johnny BB Gunner's target one more time. Let's try and do it as fast as possible. That's one of the coolest airgun targets for the smaller caliber rounds. That's gotta be one of my favorite. All right, once again, let's do a speed round. I want to put 3 round groups on each of my Pendulum steels. We'll do 1 shot per each, rotate right to left, come back as fast as possible, and just keep the loop going. I'll have to do a mag change in between. I won't edit anything down. We'll just see how fast we can go. I was also going to mention we're going to go as fast as we can go and just see how good the groups are going to be. And I think that actually turned out pretty decent. The pizza pan penetration test is up. I have 6 plates down there. Let's see how far we go. I don't think it's going to go past 6, but if it does, I'll add more. Let's check it out. Uno, dos, semi-trace. So went through 2. Kind of wanted to go through the 3rd one. Not quite there though. We're doing 3 ballistics gel tests. We're gonna do 1 at point blank, 1 at 25 yards, and we'll do 1 at 55 yards. 901 feet per second. For a little 22 caliber air gun, that's pretty significant. Let's see what difference 25 yards makes. You have the chronograph set up too. "820 feet per second. At 25 yards and about 80 feet per second slower, only made about not even an inch of difference. We're set up at about 55, 60 yards downrange, but before I move on to that gel block, I want to sight this thing in down there. I just don't want to destroy my chronograph. Let's go for middle bullseye. Let's aim for the hole we just put in there. Let's go for a top middle headshot. Wow, this thing stacks in there pretty nicely. Let's do top left and then top right headshot. Let's do one more. We had a flyer in that one. Actually, I got 2 shots left. Let's do 2. All right, I am confident that I'm not going to destroy my chronograph, so let's do the last gel block. One quick observation, the groups at 60 yards, some of them were actually tighter than the groups at 30 yards. Now, when the member of the channel sent this out for me, this thing was brand spanking new. It actually still had the tag on the thing. But one thing I noticed when I was testing it out, it was all over the place at like 50 plus yards. So for it to do this right now is pretty amazing. But one thing also to note is that the barrel from the factory was really nasty. So I had to rip the barrel off, swab that, clean everything out. So I'm also thinking that maybe this gun just needed to be leaded in a little bit. So maybe we're getting better performance now. Keep that in mind. We're gonna move on to the gel block. Now, the penetration at 0 to 25 yards was, I'd say, within about an inch of one another, a little bit less. And from 25 to 55 yards, it's about just the amount difference between the 0 and 25. So about a little bit less than an inch. So still pretty good penetration for such a small caliber air gun. And that's gonna wrap things up today with this Barra 1100z. The performance of this thing is pretty impressive. Now, comparing it to the B-Man Chief 2, I have a full video review on this as well. If you want to check that out, I'll have a link in the pinned comment. This isn't like a terrible performing gun. It's just the features of this compared to the Barra just smokes it in every single way. The quality of the stock, the finish is just, it's night and day difference. Has M-LOK attachment, it has a shrouded barrel, the trigger's better, the bolt action on the Chief 2 is not really smooth. If you want a smooth bolt action, the 250Z is where it's at in comparison to the B-Man Chief 2. Granted, it's twice the price of the B-Man, but if you're gonna have a bolt action, you might as well do it right, because the lever action on this 1100Z is just so much better by comparison to the B-Man Chief 2's bolt action. So huge difference there in the smoothness of the action. Like I said, the performance is pretty similar, but this is gonna be much more consistent with the regulator, maintaining the pressure all the way down to 1400 PSI. This isn't bad unregulated, but the bar is just better. Performance is pretty similar. This is just a little bit better, but just the quality is just complete night and day difference. So if you're looking for something cheap, budget friendly, I don't think you can go wrong with this Barra 1100Z. Now, when we started off, the groups at 25, 30 yards weren't that great, but as we moved back to 55 yards, as we continued shooting, I have to say, the groups down there, I think, were actually better than at 25 yards. I was actually surprised by that. But like I said, completely brand new gun, needed the barrel cleaned initially, and I think it just needed to be leaded a little bit, and then things just went better from there on out. So with that, I'll leave you there. If you want to see a complete head-to-head test against these two, I can do that, but just let me know. If I get some feedback and people want to see it, we'll put these head-to-head against one another. All right? See ya.